Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about adding and subtracting integers. So if you see up at the top, there are 3 rules for combining your numbers. You have your positive and your positive. You're just going to add those numbers together and keep the sign. You have a negative plus a negative. You're going to add those and keep the sign. So where it gets a little different, we'll use a different color for this, is when you have a positive and a negative. Okay, so here you're going to find the difference, which means to subtract, and you're going to take the sign of the larger number, which means that if you have more negatives, your answer is going to be negative, and if you have more positives, your answers are going to be positive. You are allowed to use a calculator for this if you are weak on your skills for this, but if you got this, then by all means, don't use a calculator. Practice using your brain first. All right, so this is going to be 15 plus 17. Normal addition, been doing this for years. So 7 and 5, that's 12. Carry the one, that's going to be 32. Since both of those are positive, we add and keep the sign. Both numbers are negative, so we're going to add and keep that sign. That's going to be negative 22. These are opposite signs, so we're going to subtract 7 from 12, which is 5. I have more negatives than I have positives, therefore my answer is going to be negative. The next one, same thing. These are opposite signs. We're going to subtract, which is 3. There's more positives than negatives, so that's going to stay a positive 3. Here we have 3 numbers, so just take them 2 at a time. 4 plus 20, 24. Plus 6, those are positives. Add and keep the sign. Here, 2 numbers at a time. These are opposite signs, so we're going to subtract. I have more positives than negatives. Bring down this negative 6. Same thing here, opposite signs. Subtract 2, more positives than negatives, therefore my answer is going to be positive. Another situation that's going to come up when you subtract a negative number, it's important to remember to convert that to addition. So we really don't have subtraction rules for this. We convert it to a positive or a plus or addition problem, and we change the second number to its opposite. So this becomes a plus sign, and this becomes its opposite. The opposite of a negative 5 is a positive 5. And then we just use our addition rules. So we'll do some examples for that. So if I have negative 3 minus 4, it's negative 3 plus a negative 4. Same sign, add and keep the sign. Change this subtraction to addition. This negative 12 becomes a positive 12. 5 plus 12, same sign, add and keep the sign. Positive 17. Negative 20 minus negative 30 plus 10. We're taking 2 numbers at a time. We're going to change subtraction to addition, change the second number to its opposite. Negative and positive, we're going to subtract. There's more positives, so that's going to be a positive 10. And then 10 plus 10 is 20. All right, down here at the bottom. Negative 6 minus negative 5 plus 4. 2 at a time. We're going to change subtraction to addition. That 5 becomes a negative. They're the same sign. We're going to add and keep the sign. These are opposite signs. You subtract. I have more negatives than positives, so it's going to be a negative 7. Same thing here. 2 numbers at a time. Subtraction becomes addition. Second number becomes its opposite. 3 plus 10 is 13. Bring down the minus 6. Now you can change this one as well. Subtraction to addition. Second number to its opposite. These are opposite signs, so we're going to subtract. More positives than negatives, so it's going to be a positive 7. Last one. Change your subtraction to addition. Negative 6 becomes positive 6. 10 plus 6 is 16. Minus 3. Change subtraction to addition. This becomes a negative 3. We have opposite signs, so we subtract. More positives than negatives, therefore it's going to be a positive 13. Again, you can use Desmos with this, and that's something that I have put a link for you to the online version, or you are welcome to add the app to your phone if you would rather do it that way. And make sure you're using the scientific and not the graphing. You'll use the graphing calculator in algebra next year, but for this year, we just need the scientific one. All right, so on the back, we have rules for multiplying and dividing. There's not a heading on here, sorry about that, so we'll put it on here. So we're going to be multiplying, or just say multiply and divide integers. Okay, so that's going to be the back here. So there's a couple of ways to look at it, and the nice thing is the rules are exactly the same for multiplying and dividing. A positive times a positive is a positive divided by a positive is a positive. Negative times a negative is a positive divided by a negative is a positive. If they have opposite signs, one positive, one negative, then your answer is going to be negative. There's a little tic-tac-toe board here that also helps with that, so that will help you remember it. And you can go in any direction, so a positive times a negative is a negative. A negative times a negative is a positive. You can go diagonally. A negative times a positive is a negative. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So it works in any direction if that's helpful. So again, you are allowed to use a calculator for these, but if you need the practice with your math skills, go ahead and use your brain first. So 4 times 3, they're both positive, positive 12. I did not mean to do that in that color. Negative times a positive is a negative, and 5 times 10 is 50. A negative times a negative is a positive. 10 times 5 again is 50. The next row, 7 times negative 4, opposite signs is negative, and that's 28. Positive 8 times positive 8, 64. A negative times a negative is a positive, and 11 times 4 is 44. So we have some division. Positive divided by a positive is still going to be a positive, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. Negative 36 divided by positive 6 is going to be negative 6. A negative divided by negative. Now notice that this doesn't divide evenly. So this is going to leave me with a fraction, or we can talk about the decimal. So this is going to be 1 over 4, or the decimal version of 0.25. Just watch for your directions on something like that to see what format they're looking for. 16 divided by negative 2 is negative 8. Positive divided by negative. Positive and positive, positive answer. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Last one, negative divided by negative is a positive, and 49 divided by 7 is 7. So on the bottom, we've got multiple pieces going on here. So we want to make sure that we take 2 numbers at a time. And again, you can use Desmos and do all 3 at one time. That's up to you. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. I'm going to bring down that 5. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. Times 4, negative 48. On the top here, and then we've got division. So we have almost like an order of ops thing going on here. And we'll talk about that soon. 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. Bring down the negative 2 and the divide by 4. We're going to multiply negative 12 times negative 2. That's a positive 24 divided by 4, which gives me 6. And on the bottom here, we're going to do this one, just this part. This is going to be negative 12. And I'm going to bring down the negative 1. And negative 12 times negative 1 is a positive 12. Now this again is not going to divide nicely, so I'm just going to reduce that down by 2 to 1 over 6. So that is it for our integers. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And again, you can use Desmos on this, so feel free to do that. But also it helps to exercise your math skills, so do as much as you can using just your brain when possible. Have a great day.